Hey guys, I'm Sam and welcome to my channel. So basically I'm a bride and I know that wedding planning can be so stressful. So what I want to do is I want to make a place for you guys to come and get all of your questions answered. So if you guys have any other things that you have questions on about wedding planning, make sure you comment down below. Let me know. I'll be sure to make a video and help you guys out. So let's just jump right into it. So today what we're going to talk about is bride versus bridesmaid. Who pays what? So we're going to break down every single item that your bridesmaids are expected to pay for, typically how much that generally costs, and then also what is the bride expected to pay for as well. So typically a bridesmaid pays about $1,324. That's $1,324 to be in a bridal party. Now, this should be expected off the bat. So if your bridesmaids say yes to being a bridesmaid, they should expect having some type of cost. Now, maybe it's going to be more, maybe it's going to be less based off of what they could afford, but make sure that you're aware of their budgets as well, because some bridesmaids can afford a lot and some cannot afford a lot. So I know for me, I tried to be like, penny pinchers in every little area. I kind of said, okay, I'm not gonna make them spend money on this and we're gonna opt out of X, Y, or Z. So always keep in mind the budget of your bridesmaids and be considerate of that. So what we're gonna start off with is the attire and prep. So attire is basically the outfit that they wear, maybe jewelry, also shoes, a shawl, any of that is included with attire. And prep, meaning your makeup, your hair, basically how you look on the day. And that typically comes to a total of $381 on average within the United States for a bridesmaid. So the attire, your bridesmaids are pretty much expected to pay for everything in terms of attire. So they're expected to pay for their dress. They're also expected to pay for maybe a shawl, shoes, all of that's included. Now, the jewelry is a little bit of a gray area. I've been speaking to a lot of people where they agree or disagree with this area. I personally think that it's not needed to have jewelry, so that might be an added bonus expense. But if your bridesmaids can afford it, then definitely that is something that you could require them to do as well. Now, with jewelry, sometimes that's actually a gift from the bride, because let's say she wants everyone to wear this, let's say wear this necklace, whatever, just as an example, but she knows that she doesn't want to ask the bridesmaids to do that. She'll buy everyone the same necklace and say, hey, this is something that I want you guys to wear on the wedding day, and it also acts as a gift as a thank you for being in the bridal party. So that's always an option too. Now, as far as prep and as far as like makeup and hair, for that, typically it's also an expense on the bridesmaids. Unless, now I repeat, unless it is required by the bride. Now, if I say I need every single one of my bridesmaids to have their hair done by this person and they also need to have their makeup done by this, then it's expected that I, as the bride, will pay because it's a mandatory thing. Now, if I say, I don't care what you do for your hair, I don't care what you do for your makeup, you could hire someone, you could do it yourself, then that's up to them. If they want to hire someone and they want to spend that additional cost, they can. If they want to do it themselves, that's also an option. So it's typically on them unless it's required by the bride. All right, so now our next one is events. So by events, I mean the engagement party, bridal shower, bachelorette, all of those different things. Now, again, the average for that is $501. And again, keep in mind, this is just the average for the United States. It may change around the world or per state as well, but about $501. Now, again, that includes engagement party, bridal shower, bachelorette. The main thing about the engagement party is essentially just the gift. Typically, the bride actually hosts that, or maybe one of the family members will host the engagement party for them. So they are, the bridesmaids are not required to chip in on that, but they are typically expected to give a gift. Now, that could vary how much you can afford as a bridesmaid, but it is expected that you give some type of gift towards the bride and groom. Now, the next one is the bridal shower. In the old days, your bridesmaids actually paid for the whole entire bridal shower. Nowadays, it's shifted from that perspective. Sometimes we have our moms or dads or some family members chip in. Sometimes it still is the bridal party. Sometimes even the bride chips in for that. So again, things have changed drastically in terms of the bridal shower. So it's not expected that the bridesmaids do that, but it is something that the bridesmaids might be thinking about or the bridesmaids might do. But on top of that, they do give a gift. So the bridesmaids, sometimes they go in as like a group gift. For example, my bridesmaids did that. I wanted like this TV stand, and they all kind of chipped in a small portion. So that's an option as well to kind of lessen the cost for everyone. Also makes it a little less stressful, so they all just kind of, one coordinates it and they all chip in money for it. So that's an option too. Now, as far as the bachelorette party, typically the bridesmaids are required to plan the bachelorette party. So if they're required to plan it, then logic would say they're also required to spend the money for themselves, also to pay for the bride too. Now, an exception to this is if the bride is planning their own destination bachelorette. Meaning if, let's say, I live in New Jersey and I'm making all of my bridesmaids fly out to Florida, then typically, since that is my choice and my decision to go there and I am hosting it, I would pay for my flight and possibly even my lodging. However, when we're actually there, then typically the bridesmaids will maybe split for drinks or for my food or the events that happen at that bachelor party, or bachelorette, I should say, because it would be a bachelorette. So they would be typically required to kind of chip in for those expenses for the bride for that bachelorette party. Now, the next one that you're required to, as a bridesmaid, essentially pay for is wedding expenses. So I don't mean the expense of planning the whole entire wedding. Obviously, that's on the bride. But the requirement here is traveling, lodging, and the wedding gift. That's kind of those wedding expenses. Now, those wedding expenses typically constitute of about $442. Again, this is just an average, but that pretty much breaks down of the hotel, the travel, also of the gifts. So for the hotel and travel, if let's say you live out of state, again, I live in New Jersey, so let's say I'm inviting a bridesmaid and they are coming from North Carolina. They are required to spend, whether they want to take a train, car, bus, whatever way to get here, they're required for those expenses. Also, when they get here, they're required for their lodging. Now, that also has kind of a caveat to it. If me as the bride are requiring all of my bridesmaids, the night before, maybe I'm not staying with my to-be husband, and I'm requiring them to stay in the hotel with me, then that expense would be on me. I would front the bill for maybe that master suite, so all of my bridesmaids, or maybe a couple of my bridesmaids, to stay with me. For example, I have 2 maid of honors, so I'm requiring them to stay with me the night of because I'm not going to be with my to-be husband, so I'm requiring them. Now, I'm fronting the bill for that, and I'm not requiring them to pay for any of those expenses there. But again, if you're not requiring it, then it's up to the bridesmaids to cover that bill. Now, your gift, just act as if you were a normal guest. So in your area, try and look up and see how much on average they give for a gift, and I would suggest giving that money. Also, keep in mind that if you're bringing a spouse or if you're bringing a significant other, you should typically double that. Typically, the average of spending on a gift is covering your plate. Now, obviously, if the bride is having it at a super, super elaborate place, that's going to be a very different covering your plate value rather than having a backyard wedding. So just use a discretionary. I could also make another video if you guys are curious on that, how much should a wedding gift be? But definitely, if you want that, comment down below, let me know, and I'll be happy to make that video as well. Now, pretty much everything that we've discussed so far is what the bridesmaids should spend money on. Obviously, with a couple exceptions here and there, but what should the bride spend on? Now, pretty much the bride has the cost of the whole entire wedding, putting on this beautiful ceremony, putting on this beautiful reception. On top of that, also, she should get the bouquets, also the transportation from the ceremony to the reception. That should be on the bride as well. The bridesmaids shouldn't be required to, once kind of the wedding day starts, they shouldn't be required to get themselves to point A to point B. Even that means if the bride is just saying that we're all carpooling and it's going to be my car, my sister's car, and so-and-so's car. As long as she provides transportation, doesn't have to be anything elaborate, but that is still required on the bride. Also, getting bouquets, getting corsages, getting all of those things for your bridesmaids. Also, getting them a gift. Thanking them because they've spent so much time, so much effort on this day to make it that much more special for you. So I'll make another video on kind of bridesmaids gifts, a little bit of ideas on that, but do want to thank them for helping you out during this special time. So a gift is definitely essential as well. So pretty much to break it down for you, the bridesmaid should pay for their attire, for their makeup, for their hair, for the parties, the bachelor party, for all of those types of things. Also gifts for all of those events as well. Now again, I know that sounds like a lot, but saying yes to be a bridesmaid pretty much entails that I'm going to agree to all of those things. And then on the bride side of things, she should thank them by giving them a gift. Also, she should thank them by, having this beautiful ceremony. That's also thanking her guests, but also thanking her bridesmaids for participating in her day too. So that pretty much wraps up everything that I wanted to mention to you guys today. If you guys have any ideas on other things that you think that the bride or the bridesmaid should pay for, make sure you comment down below. Let me know of that. Also, if you like this video, always give it a thumbs up. Also, make sure that you subscribe to this channel. It really helps me out a ton because it really shows me that you guys are enjoying this content, because I know that when I was kind of in the whole wedding planning stage, right now I pretty much have mostly everything done, and now I'm just waiting for the big day to happen because we did have to postpone, unfortunately, but that's a topic for another day. But with that, now I'm just kind of in limbo, so that's why I want to reach out and help you guys. So with that, if I had this channel or something like this that would help me when I was wedding planning, I would be so, so grateful. So that's what I want to do for you guys. So again, if you like this video, make sure you subscribe, make sure that you do that. Also, like, comment, and come back next time. All right, see you guys. Bye-bye.